Filmmakers aspire to cast him in their creations, and screenplay writers dream of weaving celluloid magic based on his on-screen histrionics.
Vijay, Dinanath, John, पूरा नाम।
आज मेरे पास बिल्डिंग है, प्रॉपर्टी है, बैंक बैलेंस है, बंगला है, गाड़ी है, क्या है तुम्हारे पास?
मैं आज भी फेंके हुए पैसे नहीं उठाता। तुम लोग मुझे ढूंढ रहे हो और मैं तुम्हारा यहाँ इंतजार कर रहा हूँ। जब तक बैठने को न कहा जाए शराफत से खड़े रहो। डॉन का इंतजार तो 11 बुकों की पुलिस है।
You see, the whole country of the system is juxtapositioned by the hemoglobin in the atmosphere because you are a sophisticated rhetorician intoxicated by the exuberance of your own verbosity.
20 साल से ये जंजीर मेरे जहन को एक सांप की तरह डस रही थी। अब मुझे सब कुछ याद आ गया है तेजा।
From being an angry young man to the Shahenshah of Bollywood.
रिश्ते में तो हम तुम्हारे बाप होते हैं, ना मैं शहंशाह।
Amitabh Harivansh Srivastava has travelled a long way.
इसने आज तक तुम्हारे सामने सर नहीं झुकाया।
Beyond the aura of an Amitabh Bachchan, beyond the facade of the Big B, there beats the soul of a consummate performer, an artist for whom celluloid is a dimension of existence and expression.
कभी कभी मेरे दिल में ख्याल आता है.
Over the years, he has not only grown bigger and more iconic, but he has become an institution that is inseparable from the lore of Indian cinema. Hello, my name is Shujoy, and for the next hour or so, we'll be talking Amitabh Bachchan. With all that is happening all around you, you must have noticed that the man has reached another milestone. So we talk Bachchan to celebrate his 70th birthday. A 70mm look at the biggest superstar Indian cinema has ever produced. We will take you to the house he was born in Allahabad, to his school, his college, to Kolkata where he first worked for a living, and then on to Mumbai where he made his mark and where he still lives. 1942. Across the globe, there raged a war between brute fascist might and those who represented the free world. In India, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi's call for civil disobedience resonated to the cries of the Quit India movement. In that heady atmosphere, in the quaint town of Allahabad, on the banks of River Ganga, on 11th of October 1942, at the times of germinating freedom, Inqilab was born. The firstborn of poet Harivansh Rai and his wife Teji Bachchan, Inqilab represented a poet family's deep-rooted conviction that revolution would lead to freedom. Inqilab Rai Bachchan had a short-lived existence because at the insistence of friends, blinding light replaced revolution and Inqilab became Amitabh. This is the lane outside the house where Amitabh was born.
जिस दिन मेरी चेतना जगी मैंने देखा मैं खड़ा हुआ हूँ इस दुनिया के मेले में हर एक यहाँ पर खिलावे हुए हर एक लगा है अपनी अपनी देह।
I wanted to become a member of the cricket club that the school had formed, and there was an admission fee there of 2 rupees. And I went home and asked my mother for it, and she says, I don't have 2 rupees to give you, so it's not within my budget. And I felt very distraught and I cried over it. Then, sometime later, I asked for a box camera. You know, you used to have that very small. And I don't know from where and how my mother collected money and finally bought me that camera.
यहाँ से इसी घर में रहे तो यहीं से उन्होंने संघर्ष शुरू किया। तो वही संघर्ष करने की जो मादा आज आप अमिताभ जी में देखते हैं, वो संघर्ष करने की मादा वो अपने पिताजी से ही उन्होंने यहीं से शुरू किया था संघर्ष, तो यहीं से उन्होंने वो सीखा।
Amitabh Bachchan and younger brother Amitabh grew up in a household where free expression was their artistic legacy. Father Harivansh Rai had already established himself as a poet in the Hindi language, yet he was a doctorate in English literature from Cambridge University. Mother Teji Bachchan had a keen interest in theatre and provided Amitabh with his first spark of interest in the performing arts. But films were something that was never really an option.
I don't think it was my mother that kept prompting me to get onto stage. It gives the impression that she, at a very young age, when I was very young, thought that this is where I should be going. No, not at all. She always encouraged whatever we wanted to do.
The child, Amit, was the student at the boys' high school in Allahabad. Amitabh's brush with public performance began early. He was a regular on stage at the boys' high school in Allahabad, one of the most prestigious educational institutes in the city. It was only after Amitabh had made it big in Bollywood that schoolmates would recall how he had showed promise even in those early days. Possibly even today at school reunion dinners, old distinguished men in their 70s would tell each other how they always knew that Amit would one day make it big on stage. And then someone would say, no, no. And then they would all argue about it, like old boys do.
Very good with his voice. There was never a show when he wasn't made to act, say, give a speech, or do something, even as a small kid. I mean, can you imagine class 4 and 5? And Amitabh was there.
The famous baritone was yet to break through when he was sent off to Sherwood College, a boarding school nestled in the hills of Nainital.
Now, he has done question number 3. Now,
it was at Sherwood that a young Amitabh found his passion for acting. At Sherwood College, Amitabh Bachchan was an accomplished student, a star of the boxing ring and of the stage as well. Those days, Shashi Kapoor's father-in-law, Jeffrey Kendall's stage troupe used to tour in and around Nainital. Every year, Sherwood used to give away the Kendall Cup to its best actors. In the history of Sherwood, Amitabh Bachchan became the first student to have been nominated twice for the prestigious cup. He won it in 1957. The next year, he lost because he got chickenpox instead. 50 years after passing out, when Bachchan visited Sherwood in 2008, his gratitude was evident in every word of his address to the staff and students.
Here where I stand today is where I fought the wars some half century ago. Here, I felt the most awesome elation winning the Kendall Cup all those years ago. But they were indeed the happiest days of my life, those of my days spent in Sherwood College.
Amitabh completed his formal education from Kirorimal College in Delhi with a double Master of Arts degrees. Kirorimal is a college known for its emphasis on arts and culture, an ideal breeding ground for future actors. Like any other young man, Amitabh Bachchan was working towards a degree that would help him in what was then an uncertain future. Decades later, the college would felicitate their most famous alumnus. But when Amitabh left Kirorimal, superstardom was many years and many struggles away. From the national capital, Bachchan headed eastward to Calcutta to earn his livelihood. After a brief stint with Baird & Company, he joined a freight brokerage firm called Black & Company. Amitabh's office colleagues from those days remember him as quite the efficient, the tall, non-Bengali youngster who needed some pampering now and then.
Offer him a cup of tea when he comes back from his round. Be nice, welcome him with a smile. Otherwise, he would be serious most of the time. And you'll give the impression that he is concentrating on the work, which he was. Now he can express his feeling by action. Earlier on, he would do it by his face look. Either he'll have his eyes red or stare at you or serious. But now he can, by his body movements, as they say, he can express himself. So there's a lot of change in him. And he's beyond recognition now.
Yeah.
Good for him and good for the country that it blossomed a little later.
Amitabh struck a friendship with most of his colleagues, and he kept them in mind on important occasions of his life. The Bachchan that they recall was an introvert, but then too he clearly had a sense of fun.
I said, Amit, what is this? Where are you going? He said, I have to attend a wedding. I said, come on, it's not your wedding that you are taking 7 days off. It's a friend's wedding. I said, come, for a friend's wedding, you've got to take 7 days off. He said, a very close family friend of ours. I said, which family friend of yours? So he said, Rajiv Gandhi is getting married and I have to attend the wedding. So I looked at him and I said, no, I don't believe this. You know, this is not on. She said, believe me, Sudeep, it is true. So I said, all right. So I was rather childish at that time. I said, okay, I'll believe that you are a friend of the Gandhis, provided Rajiv, with his own hands, acknowledges my telegram, which I'll send him, amongst thousands of others, which I'm sure he'll be getting. Soon after Rajiv got married, a couple of days later, I got an inland letter from Rajiv Gandhi in his own handwriting, thanking me for the good wishes I sent him.
While in Kolkata, Amitabh was active in the English theatre circuit. If he had a film career in mind, he didn't mention it. By all accounts, he left the city for personal reasons, with an unplanned future lying ahead of him.
Or acting at any point of time. But as I told you earlier, when he left, I didn't know that he was going to join the films. Perhaps at the back of his mind, that's what he had. You know, that his target was to join or start acting.
Considerations of livelihood and regular money at the end of the month was no compensation for what the heart desired. By 1968, young Amit had decided to give it all up. Because Amitabh Bachchan wanted to spend his life doing what he wanted to do, and he wanted to act.
मदिरालय जाने को घर से चलता है पीने वाला, किस पथ से जाऊं असमंजस में है वो भोला भाला। अलग अलग पथ बतलाते सब, अलग अलग पथ बतलाते सब, पर मैं ये बतलाता हूं, राह पकड़ तू एक चला जा, आ जाए मधुशाला।
The tall and lanky young man boarded a train that took him to the city of opportunity and heartbreak. He joined the rank of strugglers. Bombay, as it then was, did not embrace its biggest creation to be with open arms. It was a ruthless place where dreams were bought and sold every day, and where deification of a silver-screen god masked 1,000 broken hopes that lay crushed on an unfeeling studio floor. For a time it seemed that Amitabh's unconventional looks and great height would see him make his way back to a life of dejection. Every filmmaker that he approached thought he was too tall at 6'2". They thought him a bit too dark to be exposed on film. In desperation, Amitabh tried to use the one other unique characteristic that he had, his deep baritone. But here too Bachchan failed. He was rejected by the All India Radio after an audition test.
ये तो सब जानते हैं कि मैं बुज़दिल हूँ, दिल का कच्चा हूँ। नहीं पुत्र, हमारा ना बुज़दिली नहीं है, सच्चाई है।
Then in 1969, when Amitabh was on the verge of quitting, came his break.
पुत्र, शर्मा की अपने दोस्त और साथी की जान बचानी।
Khwaja Ahmed Abbas cast Amitabh in Saath Hindustani, and Bachchan was one of the 7. The film wasn't a financial success, but Amitabh Bachchan won his first national award as the best newcomer. And so took wings the amazing acting career of one who would be the big B in Bollywood. A national award in his kitty did not smoothen the path to glory for Amitabh. He still had to struggle.
सलाम सेठ जी
Salam. आओ आओ.
ये
Producers lining up to sign him for their next movie was still in the future. Bachchan did voiceovers and he did smaller roles that took his career nowhere.
आनंद खुशी तो तुम सबके साथ बांटते हो आज मेरे साथ थोड़ा सा अपना गम भी बांट लो
But then came Anand. Rishikesh Mukherjee's heart-wrenching film had Hindi cinema's biggest star of those times, Rajesh Khanna, playing the lead. But Amitabh Bachchan did not go unnoticed. He got the Filmfare Award that year for the Best Supporting Actor.
आनंद क्यों मेरे पीछे पड़ रहे हो तुम क्यों एक्सपेक्ट करते हो जो तुम कहोगे वही मैं करूंगा
And this time, the award was for a movie that was both critically acclaimed and successful commercially.
मैं तुम्हें इस तरह खामोश नहीं होने दूंगा 6 महीने से तुम्हारी बकबक सुन रहा हूं मैं बोल बोल के मेरा सर खा गए हो तुम बोलो बातें करो मुझसे
But Amitabh was still the nice tall young man who could act. It was only with his 13th film that anger entered the scene, and it was Zanjeer that catapulted Amitabh to fame.
आज मेरे हाथ में है जब तक बैठने को न कहा जाए शराफत से करो ये पुलिस स्टेशन है तुम्हारे बाप का घर नहीं
कहानी ही ऐसी थी एक अद्भुत कहानी थी उस जमाने के लिए उसमें एक नयापन था लेखक सलीम जावेद उन्होंने एक ऐसा किरदार रचा जो कि उस जमाने के लिए नया था
Prakash Mehra directed the movie, and Amitabh's role was probably the first portrayal of a middle-class anti-hero in Hindi cinema. An honest police officer fights the corrupt, violent system from within. But failing in the attempt, he revolts and takes on the fight as an outsider, using crooked means.
तुमने उस दिन 2 खून किए थे तेजा गलती की 3 करने चाहिए थे क्या मतलब
This marked a new beginning. Hindi cinema now had its angry young man. And riding the waves of the popularity of this particular typecast began a remarkable journey of fame and success.
मेरे जहन को एक सांप की तरह डस रहे थे
एक तो उसकी आंखें और वॉइस और मेन चीज जो मुझे इम्प्रेस की वो उसकी आंखें और जंजीर में आप देखिएगा उसके डायलॉग बहुत कम है वो आंखों से बोलता है
After Zanjeer, the offers started pouring in and Amitabh had regular work. And it was on a film set that he met his future wife, actress Jaya Bhaduri.
I'd seen some photographs of her before I actually met her. And she seemed very cute and very small and very impish. And then I was told by Rishikesh Mukherjee that he was making this film and he was wanting me to work in it. And he told me that she was going to be in it. And that was her first film. And it was almost my first film also. And then we met her. I saw her on the sets of Goodby on the first day of shooting. And we went out together. We kind of liked each other's company because we were all working with Mr. Rishikesh Mukherjee. And Rishida was working on a number of projects at that time. There was Anand, there was Goodby going on. And there was always a very informal atmosphere with him. And we had a nice group of people and we went out.
Love had blossomed and it turned to commitment during the making of Abhiman, a film that released a month after a very real-life wedding.
What really attracted me the most was his eyes.
For my eyes?
Yes. I'm talking about the physical appearance, but
yes,
It's impossible to say it. I think it's too personal.
There were so many things.
I can't sort of.
आज से 20 बरस पहले जब ये बिल्डिंग बन रही थी,
Not only with Jaya, Amitabh's magic, his trademark deep baritone, his tall persona, and intense eyes worked its trick on the audience as well. By the mid-70s, Amitabh Bachchan had established himself as a force to contend with in Bollywood. But superstardom was yet to come.
अगर किसी ने हिलने की कोशिश की तो भून के रख दूंगा.
The year 1975 saw the release of Amitabh's two biggest blockbusters till date. First came Ramesh Sippy's Sholay, and when Jay died on screen, the audience's horrified gasp betrayed the birth sound of a new phenomenon, the birth of Amitabh, the superstar.
मेरे ये बताने से सोने का भाव नहीं गिर जाएगा. काम हो गया है. मुझे मेरा पैसा चाहिए.
And then there was Yash Chopra's Diwar. Amitabh is the anti-hero. One who plays a lowly dockyard coolie who has to become rich by any means.
इसे अपनी जेब में रख ले पीटर. अब ये ताला मैं तेरी जेब से चाबी निकाल कर ही खोलूंगा. ये ले.
And superstar Amitabh was well and truly on his way to becoming a one-man film industry. Every film producer knew, cast Amitabh Bachchan in your film and you had a hit. From being a sidelight on the scene, Amitabh Bachchan had transformed to become the undisputed king of the celluloid world. On screen, Amitabh fought his way against tremendous odds. And off-screen, a mesmerized audience fought for a ticket to his movies.
आज मेरे पास बिल्डिंगें हैं, प्रॉपर्टी है, बैंक बैलेंस है, बंगला है, गाड़ी है. क्या है तुम्हारे पास?
His screen persona reflected the angst of the 70s.
मैं आज भी फेंके हुए पैसे नहीं उठाता. I'm sorry.
In him was embodied the pent-up resentment of unemployment, of social deprivation and individual degradation. But in him too, the audiences found a champion who lashed out at a system that kept them in penury.
पहले उस आदमी का साइन लेकर आओ जिसने मेरी माँ को गाली देकर नौकरी से निकाल दिया था. जाओ पहले उस आदमी का साइन लेकर आओ जिसने मेरे हाथ में ये लिख दिया था. उसके बाद मेरे भाई तुम जिस कागज पे कहोगे मैं उसमें साइन कर दूंगा.
And then there was melodrama. Manmohan Desai started the cult of brothers getting separated at the fair, of families that destiny had torn apart and only filmmakers' skill could join for one big happy ending. But for Amitabh, it was now the beginning when Manmohan Desai's Amar Akbar Anthony won him his first Best Actor award in 1977.
My name is Anthony Gonsalves. Right? My name is Anthony Gonsalves.
With Dawn, Amitabh made it 2 Best Actor awards in a row.
चलो डॉन, पुलिस तुम्हारा इंतजार कर रही है.
करने दो. डॉन का इंतजार तो 11 मुल्कों की पुलिस कर रही है, लेकिन सोनिया, एक बात समझ लो, डॉन को पकड़ना मुश्किल ही नहीं, नामुमकिन है.
It was under film directors Manmohan Desai and Prakash Mehra that Amitabh gave some of his biggest hits of this period. Yash Chopra brought out the actor in him. He was at his romantic best in Kabhi Kabhi and Silsila. In Silsila, his alleged romance with Rekha set the screen on fire, but the box office didn't approve. Yash Chopra's Trishul and Kala Patthar again fell back on Amitabh's angry young man persona, and that worked. Hrishikesh Mukherjee was another director who realized his huge acting potential. Anand had only marked the beginning. Hrishikesh Mukherjee cast Amitabh in 10 of his films.
जीत पहले बना था
With his brilliant acting skills and his ability to deliver blockbuster after blockbuster, Bachchan was set for a long haul. But then, when he was at the height of his popularity, there came a hiccup in his career and his life. On the sets of Coolie, Amitabh was seriously injured while filming a fight sequence. Amitabh was rushed to hospital, and initial reports said that the injury was serious, even life-threatening. His fans were devastated. They feared for him, and all across the country people prayed that the Almighty would return their icon to them. Amitabh made a stable recovery, and after some initial doubt about being able to carry on in films, the superstar returned to reign at the top. By the early 80s, Amitabh Bachchan was at his peak. He was the colossus that dominated Bollywood cinema, and he ruled the hearts and minds of millions of fans. In 1984, when India tried to come to terms with the brutal reality of Indira Gandhi's assassination, Amitabh stood firm in his support for his longtime friend Rajiv Gandhi. Amitabh joined politics, and his enormous popularity ensured that he easily defeated political stalwart H.N. Bahuguna and won the Allahabad Lok Sabha seat.
एक ये इच्छा थी कि हम किसी भी तरह राजीव के पीछे खड़े रहें और जो भी हम उनकी मदद कर सके या सहायता दे सके उन्हें इस मौके पर हम सबको देना चाहिए और इसी मंशा से इसी इरादे से हमने राजनीति में ये चुनाव लड़ा.
But the superstar's stint in politics proved short-lived. Amitabh and his brother Ajitabh were embroiled in a financial irregularity scandal. Though he was later absolved of all accusations, the actor realized that politics was not his cup of tea. Amitabh resigned his parliament seat and vowed to never again dabble in politics.
जनता का प्रतिनिधित्व करने के बाद ये पता चला कि राजनीति जो है वो एक काफी गंभीर खेल है और हम उसमें सक्षम नहीं हैं. हमें राजनीति आती नहीं थी और इसे अपनी एक भूल तो नहीं कहूंगा, एक हार समझकर मैं उसमें से निकला.
It was 1987 when Amitabh decided to make his comeback. Bollywood had changed. There was a newer breed of film actors who had carved out their own space in the film industry and in people's imaginations. The hardest jolt was that Amitabh was no longer young, and younger heroes had taken over the role of the angry young man.
एक बार फिर से ट्राई मार ले.
The old Amitabh formula failed to make an impact at the box office. Only Khuda Gawa, Hum, Agnipat and Shahenshah managed to score.
Vijay, Dinanath, John, पूरा नाम.
But these were films based on scripts that were written to suit Amitabh. No longer was it a fact that any role and any script would be a hit if the Bachchan name led the credits.
Sometime in the 90s, I just was advised that you need not work again. And you're secure enough to, be okay. So I took a sabbatical and went off, traveled a lot, and was by myself doing nothing. I think that was an error. I think that I should never have left, the film industry or the thought that I'm now away from it. One must continue working.
The 1990s saw Amitabh turning corporate. With the birth of his production company, Amitabh Bachchan Corporation Limited, ABCL. Amitabh pumped in all his energy, time and money in building the brand Amitabh Bachchan. But lack of business experience and acumen saw the fast demise of ABCL.
When I came back, I started off something new which went into a lot of financial difficulties. So there were many problems that were loaded on at approximately the same time. The non-success of cinema, not having any films, starting a venture which has gone into financial crisis, and those were difficult times.
With ABCL having been a huge blow financially and emotionally, Amitabh had to make one more attempt at retrieving lost glory. But few gave the aging superstar a chance to get back to the top. It seemed that Bollywood had lost its confidence in the biggest star it had ever created. And the odds were that Amitabh Bachchan would soon be history. No one saw the turnaround coming. No one could predict that Amitabh would claim his rightful place back, right at the top of the pile. It was the small screen that proved Big B was big.
चलिए हम और आप खेलते हैं कौन बनेगा करोड़पति। All the best to you.
Kaun Banega Crorepati, the Indian version of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, caught the imagination of the country, and Amitabh Bachchan as its host came back with a bang. The show propelled Amitabh to another level of mega stardom. Now everyone had access to the Big B. He was there inside Indian homes, looking the camera in the lens and saying,
"Lock kar diya ja."
His films began finding success again at the box office, and brand Bachchan was back stronger than ever before. There was no looking back. Amitabh worked with a vengeance. No longer the young man, AB remained angry. He would never let it happen again that the audiences would be given a chance to forget him. He had regained his crown and was again one of the busiest actors in Hindi cinema. But this time, he was not the leading man. This time, Amitabh Bachchan was taking risks. In 2005, he played teacher to deaf and mute Rani Mukherjee in Sanjay Leela Bhansali's Black. His performance won him a national award and is still hailed as one of his best. It was proof enough that Amitabh was still very much in control of his craft.
मैं चाहता हूं कि कल सुबह आप सारे स्टूडेंट्स के सामने आएं और उनसे कहें कि आज तक आपने उन्हें जो कुछ कहा, उन्हें जो कुछ सिखाया।
Liberated from commercial factors, Amitabh continued to experiment.
अपनी छतरी कचरे के डब्बे से ले लीजिए। आप लेट हैं।
What late? I'm back on time. ठीक 8:30 बजे। क्या सच्ची आपने मेरी छतरी डस्टबिन में डाल दी?
आपको शॉर्ट आइट है लॉन्ग साइड?
He portrayed an egocentric 64-year-old chef who falls in love with a woman half his age in R. Balki's Chini Kam.
तो लोग 200 रुपए के फूल खरीद लेते हैं, पर ये 2 घंटे में मर जाते हैं। पता नहीं क्या एक्सप्रेस करना चाहते हैं लोग फूल देकर के। I'm in love with you.
But when Bachchan tried to get bolder in Nishabd, it backfired. The audience rejected Amitabh's risk romance with a much younger Jia Khan.
I can't control my feelings for you.
Hey, what's up? What are you doing?
Then in 2009 came Pa, where Bachchan's portrayal of a 12-year-old boy with rare genetic disease called progeria wowed the audiences. Real-life father to Abhishek, Amitabh played real-life son to him in Pa. The film won him another national award.
अमर तुम पागल हो गए? ये तुम्हारा बेटा कैसे हो सकता है?
Despite Pa's success, Bachchan returned to the small screen the same year as the host of reality show Big Boss.
जरा सोचिए, 13 अजनबी 35 कैमरों के बीच 84
He
दिनों तक
played pop psychologist to those in the house and added the human element to the show. And not surprisingly, season 3 of Big Boss was a big success.
तो फिर अंदर भी आप ही उन्हें भेजिए. अब ये जिम्मेदारी आपकी है, जरा सोच लीजिए.
At 70, Amitabh Bachchan has already acted in over 180 films. His health has sometimes been a cause of concern, but he refuses to slow down. He has just returned to television with the 6th season of Kaun Banega Crorepati. Amitabh Bachchan is still the consummate performer who effortlessly conveys that dreams could be plausible. But there have been changes. Though he remains the colossus of the entertainment industry that he always was, he has adapted with time. He has now become more accessible to his fans. AB is now reachable on many social networking websites. Amitabh Bachchan is now more real in the virtual world than he ever was in the real one.
फिल्मी कलाकारों की जिंदगी ऐसी ही होती है, आसमान में उड़ती पतंग की तरह. हवा का रुख मिल गया तो खूब ऊंची उठ गई, और जहां किसी और पतंग ने काटा तो पता भी नहीं चलता कि कहां गिरी.
आदर आदाब अभिनंदन आभार. मैं हूं अमिताभ बच्चन और ये है पंचकोट की महामणि कौन बनेगा करोड़पति.
He was one of the first people in India to take to Twitter. He has been blogging for years, and when he recently joined Facebook, his page got 8 lakh likes within 30 minutes. With his second wave of success, Amitabh Bachchan reinvented himself by making his presence felt on social media. His updates range from informative to amusing, and sometimes the usually reticent Bachchan even takes on his detractors and critics and vents his anger through the social media. Yet, Bachchan remains fiercely guarded. He recently said in an interview that he had to pick his words carefully to say what he wanted to say.
ए बुड्ढे, क्या बोला तू?
चुपचाप पीछे जाओ और लाइन में खड़े हो यार.
हम जहाँ खड़े हो जाते हैं लाइन वहीं से शुरू होती है.
His recent films haven't been mega hits, but owed their success mostly to him. And even after 40 years of romancing the screen, Bachchan shows no signs of slowing down. Many believe that he's overworking himself. Bachchan says he will continue to work as long as he's healthy.
बुराई भगवान के खिलाफ हो, समाज के खिलाफ हो, पुलिस कानून या फिर पूरे सिस्टम के खिलाफ क्यों.
It's a wonderful medium. I reach out to well-wishers of mine who come from different parts of the world. I've called them my extended family. They do wonderful work. They're such incredibly talented people in there who write beautiful things, who criticize, my movies or things that I do so eloquently. And I have to tell you this, that not one of them knew each other when they came on to as respondents on the blog. But now they all know each other and they meet.
In February 2011, Bachchan was hospitalized with abdominal pain and had to undergo surgery. But he bounced back stronger than before. And he's still raring to reinterpret himself as an actor. In 2013, he ventures into Hollywood with Baz Luhrmann's The Great Gatsby.
My advice, I don't know. I'm not capable of giving any advice, but I just feel that I think you need to be occupied. You need to carry on working and keep your brain occupied. It's always very essential to keep doing something all the time, even if you're just, reading a book or writing or going some places or visiting a different country or as a tourist or whatever it may be. It's important to keep active. I think it's very necessary for people at our age to be doing that, and I'm sure that can be very fruitful.
And it's been a fulfilling life so far?
Yes, fulfilling in many respects, but I would, as I said earlier, I would never say that satisfied, because as a creative artist one should never be completely satisfied.
You see, sir, I can talk English, I can walk English, I can laugh English, because English is a very funny language.
At 70, his stature is bigger than ever, and there is no sign of the big boss letting his audiences down.
विजय, दीनानाथ, जॉन, पूरा नाम।
आज मेरे पास बिल्डिंग है, प्रॉपर्टी है, बैंक बैलेंस है, बंदा है, गाड़ी है, क्या है तुम्हारे पास?
मैं आज भी फेंके हुए पैसे नहीं उठाता।
His fan following embraces generations. His dialogues are mouthed by millions. And Amitabh Bachchan's energy, enthusiasm and zest for cinema stands sample for those to follow.
जाओ पहले उस आदमी का साइन लेकर आओ जिसने मेरे बाप से साइन लिया था। पहले उस आदमी का साइन लेकर आओ जिसने मेरी माँ को गाली देकर नौकरी से निकाल दिया था। जाओ पहले उस आदमी का साइन लेकर आओ जिसने मेरे हाथ पे ये लिख दिया था। उसके बाद मेरे भाई तुम जिस कागज पे कहोगे मैं साइन कर दूंगा।
With great pain and much hardship, Amitabh Bachchan has honed his talent to entertain India. And in the process, possibly unknown to himself, he has turned into a legend. A legend that comes only once in a very long time.
मैं ये बतलाता हूँ कि राह करती एक चला चल पा जाए मधुश्री।
70 years old, Amitabh Bachchan continues to prove that boss, he is different. When other film stars either gracefully fade into cinema history or become elder statesmen of the industry, he continues to command both box office success and critical acclaim. Roles are still being written for him. Films are still being crafted to his character. The older hero has become a fad because of him. Amitabh Bachchan at 70 has energy levels that put his younger co-stars to shame. But no one minds, because Amitabh is Amitabh, and he sets the standards for everyone else to follow.
विजय, दीनानाथ, जॉन, पूरा नाम।
आज मेरे पास बिल्डिंग है, प्रॉपर्टी है, बैंक बैलेंस है, बंगला है, गाड़ी है, क्या है तुम्हारे पास?
मैं आज भी फेंके हुए पैसे नहीं उठाता। तुम लोग मुझे ढूंढ रहे हो और मैं तुम्हारा यहां इंतजार कर रहा हूं। जब तक बैठने को न कहा जाए शराफत से खड़े रहो। ये पुलिस स्टेशन है, तुम्हारे बाप का घर नहीं। दम का इंतजार तो 11 मुल्कों की पुलिस कर रही है, लेकिन सोनिया।
You see, the whole country of the system is juxtapositioned by the hemoglobin in the atmosphere because you are a sophisticated rhetorician intoxicated by the exuberance of your own verbosity.
20 साल से ये जंजीर मेरे जहन को एक सांप की तरह डस रही थी। अब मुझे सब कुछ याद आ गया है तेजा।